Hey, so this is T Chanel. I wanted to talk about like having a relationship with God and changing your life around and stuff like that. So I have, in the past 5 years, I have been in the process of building my relationship with God, and changing my life around in general. Like, stop doing certain things that just don't consist of God. I mean, of course, I'm not going to be perfect. Nobody is perfect, but we can only do the best we can. So, in that process, I have been, trying to get on being abstinent. And I definitely want to talk about how the crazy stuff people say to me since I've been, doing this. Um, so, not only do I want to do abstinent just because of myself, but if I want my kids to do, I need to practice what I preach. I don't just because I had kids and, um, you know, I'm not a virgin. So, but that don't mean I should just be out there or doing whatever because I'm not a virgin or whatever. Either way, I'm single, so there's no need to be out there just messing with random people. And then you can't trust nobody anyway. Cause they it's like more and more STDs out here. What they call it, STIs now, STDs. Um, but yeah. But if I want my kids to do it, I don't. I can't just be bringing men around them and doing all that unnecessary stuff. Cause they need to know that it's not okay to just have a bunch of men around. And then if I'm bringing it, that's just like me telling the kids to do stuff, but I'm not doing it. And then I'm gonna say because I'm grown or because I already had kids, which is gonna make them curious and want to just do whatever they want to do anyway, or just do what they seen me doing, what they grew up seeing me do, which is not okay. I mean, still eventually when they're grown, they're gonna make their own decisions, but I still want them to, do the right thing. That's gonna um keep them from having unnecessary heartbreaks, unnecessary stress, and just dealing with unnecessary relationships in general. It's going to avoid a lot of stuff. I don't want them to go through anything that I have went through. But anyway, I want to talk about the stuff that people have said to me. So you got people who, and these is women and men, they'll say, well, we're not living in those times anymore. First of all, that shows how much you read your Bible or know anything about it, because everything that people are doing now, people were doing in Bible time. Like people having sex outside of marriage and doing all of that, and multiple women, or lesbian, gays, and stuff. All of that stuff was already happening in the Bible. It's nothing that I can say I read that people do differently. It was back then, but we still the same type of people. It's just styles done changed, the way we talk changed. But as far as people lusting, that's the same thing. Sin, I mean, what sin don't change. Just the way people might sin is change. Just how they do it. Because we got all this electronics and social media and stuff like that, and they make it a little different. But at the same time, that don't make people desires be different than the desires that were out back then. So just like you know, God would rather for us to wait to have sex until marriage, people still won't doing it that way in Bible time. So it's like, it's kind of ignorant, but I don't want to be arguing back and forth with people because I just know that they don't know. They just going by what they think, or you got people who say, well, that was documented years ago. I'm not going by something that's documented years ago when things are different now. No, the whole point of the Bible is for people to follow what God want us to do or do things God way. Just because it was documented years ago, why would it change? Why would we need to document something different? Like God don't change. We change, but God don't change. So why would it be something else documented? Like the rules are supposed to change or something? Or the way God do things is supposed to change? That don't make sense. But that just shows ignorance. And I'm not, saying that I know everything about the Bible because I don't, but I know way more than I ever knew like 5 years ago. And I keep saying 5 years ago because that is like when everything changed. Like that is when I got out of my marriage and started going through my divorce, and that was like the first time that I was single since I was 12, because every time I got out of a relationship I got right back in it in the same year, which it was only with like two people, because I was with one for 5.5 years, the other one 10 years. So um and I mean, a couple of other people in between, but it wasn't no real relationship. So I hadn't been single since I was 12. So I feel like I needed to go through this process to grow, because I felt like in my last relationship, I kept feeling like I was just going around in circles. I wasn't uh growing. I wasn't learning more. I wasn't progressing much, in things. I mean, I did feel like I was a little more mature than I was the year before. Like every year I always felt like I matured in some type of way, but then again I didn't. Like it was so much I didn't know, so much I didn't experience. Being in a sheltered relationship, you can't grow. You can't grow like that. So it was a lot of things that I needed to experience. And then the fact of um having the time by myself and really being able to start to hear God's voice. Because even though I was into God somewhat, I guess I was like a lukewarm type person. But like I prayed, I went to church, read the Bible every now and then. But it was like now, the level that I am now is like I really know God. I didn't really know God then like that. It's like is way different. I know way more. Like people could ask me questions about the Bible back then, and I really didn't know the answer. I would say I don't know yet. Like I'm not mature enough in that level yet. I mean, on mature enough, in the Bible yet. So, but those same questions that I didn't know, I know those answers now. And it's like now I don't really have a lot of people challenging me and asking me questions and stuff, because they were so into asking me these questions back then because they didn't like the change that I was going through. Same thing when I started being plant-based. They kept giving me a hard time. Oh, is that, oh, you can't eat ketchup. Like, when does ketchup have an animal in it? But anyway, it's just, a lot of people did not like the change. Now, even though I was single and I wasn't in an actual relationship, I still was messing with a guy. And of course, he didn't like the change. He wanted that friends with benefits type thing. But stuff like that get old, and that's not even on the menu. Like, that's not what nobody really wants. That a real woman does not want no friends with benefits relationship. Point blank. I feel like that's immature type stuff right there. And it was like, I would say that when I first started trying to be abstinent, it wasn't for the right reasons. Like I was doing it like basically saying, I'm just gonna take away sex from this guy because he's not giving me what I want. But it didn't work because I wasn't doing it for the right reasons. But when I really truly got into, okay, I'm doing this for God. I'm doing this for God. I'm doing this for me. That's when it got easier, because it wasn't easy before that. So definitely do things for the right reasons. I will say that it happened in a funny way. So I was already like listening to certain things, listening to certain sermons, and um trying to read certain books like The Man God Has for You, and I was listening a lot to Joel Osteen and T.D. Jakes and Stephen Furtick. But then after a while, I got into Michael Todd and Miles Monroe. Those are my two favorite pastors. I just love listening to Miles Monroe. I can listen to Miles Monroe all day. And now my daughter is into it. But those two pastors I feel like I learned the most from, and they helped me change and grow and mature. I'm definitely not the same person I was 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 3 years ago, even 2 years ago. Building a relationship with God makes you have more confidence in yourself, because that helped me realize that I did not love myself. And you know, you can think that you love yourself, but you don't truly love yourself until, like, it's just certain things you're not going to put yourself through if you love yourself. So say for instance, having sex, like, let's just say having sex with, say if you the type of person that you just love sex and you just like having sex with multiple people. Now you may look at it like, hey, this is just what I like to do for me. But when you really start to love yourself, you're going to look at it like, okay, why would I put myself through this knowing that I could possibly catch a STD, um, or get a unwanted pregnancy or stuff like that? Like, but the STD, it that gets me. So, and then not only just any STD, you can end up with HIV or just herpes or something you cannot get rid of. So it's like, it's not even thinking about no more, oh, I just like sex so much. This is just what I like. It's about, why would I risk my life in that way? I'm too important to do that. And that's what a lot of people don't think about. Because you could tell somebody, I don't think you really love yourself. And they'll be like, I think I do. I don't like you saying that because I think I love myself. But then when you truly start to love yourself, you're going to realize certain things. Your eyes are going to open. That light bulb is going to come on. The light bulb had been out for years. Yeah, it's going to pop on. It's just certain things you ain't going to do. And say if you the type of person that normally kind of let people walk all over you a little bit or a lot, once you start to love yourself, you're not going to let that happen like that. It's not going to be the same way. You're going to start speaking up, and then you're not going to fear much. If you're the type of person that got social anxiety or just scared of a lot of stuff anyway, got anxiety about everything or phobias and stuff like that, a lot of that goes away when you build your relationship with God and start to love yourself. It's like after a while, you just don't even realize it. It just start to happen. It's not even on purpose. It just happens. And after a while, you'll be like, dang, I don't act like that no more. So people really need to get into that. And I know everybody don't believe in God, but my experience, it's like I know God is real, and it's like I can't completely explain the feeling that I have, but it's like you just know it. Like I can't explain it, but it's like when you seek him, you will find him. And it's people that I know that really don't believe in God. And I'm kind of close with these people, and it's definitely, when I first got into the journey, I mean, I always believed in God, and I always, in the back of my mind wanted to wait to have sex until marriage and do stuff like that. But I looked at it like, it was always in the back of my mind, but I looked at it like, hey, can't be that bad. Everybody do it, but you can't do what everybody do, because I mean, this is the world. We can't live worldly. Then a lot of people ask me questions like, I ain't gonna say a lot of people, but I've had this question asked by a couple friends. Well, if God is real, then why would he let this happen to me? First of all, we live in this world that has sin. I mean, we born into sin. And in the Bible, it does say that we're going to have troubles in our life. I mean, when Jesus was here, he didn't have a super easy life. I mean, everybody gonna have challenges and troubles and stuff. But my thing is, don't add troubles over. So when you do things that you're not supposed to do, you're adding over top of the troubles we're already going to have. You're making your life harder. And that's what I try to explain to my children. If you want to, because I've told them all the stuff that I did when I was younger, or all the things that I went through. There's no need to hide it. Ain't no need to hide it. I don't understand certain parents when I don't want to tell my 7-year-old, but when my kids get about 10, 11, 12, hey, tell them, because they already learning certain things at school or around their friends. You'd be surprised what they know at their age. So I tell them about, all the stuff that I done went through. And I tell them, if you want to have a harder life, if you want to go through the things that I went through, or the things that you see your friends going through, or the things that you just see people go through commonly, then go ahead, go out there, do what you want to do, go have sex, go do this, because you don't want a baby at no early age. You want to be free. You want to do, you want to be able to do what you want to do when you want to do it. If you got a baby as a teenager, you can't do that. Or if you just have a baby in a situation, that you ain't really got no good relationship, that ain't a situation you want to bring a baby in either, because while you in this toxic relationship, that that's rubbing off on a child. They don't need to grow up in that type of environment. They don't need to grow up seeing you arguing all the time, and they don't need that. It's best to just do it the God's way. And a lot of times people look at the Bible as restrictions, like they're restricted, like, oh, my life gonna be boring, my life is not gonna be fun. But think about it. When you're out here doing the things that you think is fun, think you want to do, are you really enjoying your life completely? Because a lot of times when we out here drinking and smoking, a lot of times, like when we do that all the time or every day, we just masking some type of issue we got going on with ourselves. Sometimes we don't even know what it is. Because, we're not even realizing most adult problems stem from childhood. And either trying to cover up some type of feeling you don't like to handle. People try to hide it, not deal with their issues, not deal with their emotions. They just try to cover it up and act like it doesn't exist. But you can't do that. You need to actually face everything that you need to face so you can heal from it. But you can't heal from it if you keep covering up with alcohol or smoking or sex. Whatever you're trying to do. Whatever you do, whatever you abuse on a regular basis, it could be food, it could be anything. But when you build your relationship with God, a lot of that goes away, because you're supposed to give all your problems to Him anyway. And it's easier said than done, definitely at the beginning. But after a while, it gets easier. Things get easier. And the rules that God has for you is to protect you. The same way like your parents, when you're growing up and they tell you not to do this, not to go this place because it ain't safe, or not to do that because of this, it's only to protect you. And I know some parents are stricter than others, but those parents got a lot of fears and a lot of anxieties and that need to be dealt with. And then being in denial, you can't fix none if you ain't in denial. If you in denial. So, the first step to change it anyway is admitting you have a problem or some type of issue. But I've had people try to change the words around. You know how people try to make the Bible be convenient for whatever they want to do for their situation because they don't want to change. They'll be like, somebody told me, like, I need to follow my heart, because my mind will just, pretty much deceive me. But in the Bible, it says that the heart deceives. So it's like, I feel like they was trying to, get me, but it's okay. I know what's right. But sometimes you can't argue with a lot of these people. Sometimes you just got to be an example. You just have to show them and pray for them. And I don't want to be the type of person that just try to throw God in people's face all the time, because I don't want to force nothing on nobody. But when you build that relationship with God, you really, when you really get to know Him, you feel that He's real. You can tell. It's unexplainable, but you just know it. You just know. And then you realize that a lot of situations you was in, how did you even get through it the way you did if it wasn't for Him? So, that's how I feel about it. A lot of people thought I was going through a little phase. No, I was not. This is not no phase. This is my life. That's my lifestyle change. You just gotta do it. And it's what's best for me. It's what's best for my kids. It's ever since I've been building my relationship with God, my whole life has changed as far as how I was feeling. Like, I used to be so depressed that it was so hard to get up out the bed. It was so hard to get up out the bed. It's the best thing. Like, I was so scared of everything. I was scared to even be a single parent. I was scared to do everything. Like, I was scared to travel. I was scared to, it was just, sometimes I was just scared for no reason. I was just anxious for no reason, and I'll be shaking, and I'll just be, which made me so moody and have an attitude with everybody. But it's not like that anymore. It's just like it just changed. You know, normally on your YouTube homepage, a lot of the stuff that comes up is things that you watch, normally the similar things that you watch or something like that. But celibacy videos kept coming up, and I'm like, who on my YouTube watching stuff? Because I ain't pull up no celibacy videos, so I just ignored it. And a couple months later, it happened again, and I'm like, what kind of mess? So I'm like, I don't know about this. I said, I hope ain't nobody hacking me. But why would they hack some celibacy video? I mean, be watching celibacy videos if they did hack me. So, then it happened again a few months later, and I was like, you know what, God must be trying to tell me something. So I said, let me go ahead and watch these videos. And then the feeling that went through my body while I was watching these videos was crazy. And I'm like, okay, so I know, yeah, this is what I'm supposed to do. Because I always wanted to, and I did try it before. I think the longest that I tried was like 2 months, which that was in my last relationship, and that was actually the best 2 months I ever had in that relationship. Like, that was the best our relationship ever was. But we didn't keep it going. And, you know, and I regret it, you know, but it's like after watching those videos, it was like, I know this is what I need to do. And then, you know, when you sin and do things, wrong things, you know, karma gonna come. So I feel like after whatever, I did previously in my last relationships and, you know, just in general in life, I'm like, okay, it's really time to get close to God because he's really speaking to me, and it's time for me to start listening. But not only that, you know, when you pray to God about certain things that you want, he's going to take you through certain things to prepare you for what you're asking for. Because you could be asking for stuff, but you might not be ready for it, might not be mature enough for it. You mess it up if you get it too early. So I feel like for me to get the type of marriage that I want, type of relationship that I want, the type of man in my life that I want, the type of things that I want in my life, I need to do things God's way. Because my way obviously has not been working. It has not been working. And to get different results, you got to do different things. So that's why I'm on, my journey, because obviously this is what we're supposed to do. And I mean, I see the change in me. Things that I'm going through now, is no way that I could have handled that 5 years ago. I would have broke down. I would not have handled it correctly. And like, it was already hard then trying to be a single parent of 3 kids and work and do all of that stuff. And I used to always say, I ain't working no more than one job because I got kids. I ain't got time for that. And I felt like it was too hard. I was actually scared to try to do it. And I just felt like it would have been too stressful because I was already stressed. Which, I'm not saying I'm not stressed now, but it's like everything that I was scared of doing, or everything that I was doing 5 years ago that I felt like was too hard, I'm doing it now with more stuff. But it seems easy. It seems a lot easier than it did then. Like, I'm not breaking down all the time. Like, I was a mess back then. And that's how I was in my previous relationship. See, I felt like getting out of that relationship, I'm going to be able to handle things by myself. But I'm doing good, I mean, I'm not saying sometimes it's not stressful, but it's no way I could have handled this stuff like this then, so it's like I really got it together. My mind is more mature. I'm making better decisions. I'm learning, I'm not stuck in that same place. It was like, even, I don't know if it was a daydream or an actual dream at night, but when I was in my previous relationship, I always had this vision or dream or whatever that I was stuck in the woods looking for a way out, but I always ended up in the same place. Like I was going around in circles, but I was lost and I didn't know how to get out. And that's how I felt in that relationship. I don't feel like that now. I feel like I'm progressing, I'm moving forward, you know. Sometimes I might have some setbacks, but nothing like before. I am way more, I have so much more growth than I did ever in my life. This is the smartest I feel, the strongest I feel, I'm handling it, you know? And I mean, I owe that all to God. And then it's so crazy because when I first was making a decision to, practice the abstinence, I had this dream. Now, in the dream, it was normally stuff that I would have a lot of anxiety over. Because in the dreams, if I had dreams like that before, I would feel myself in my sleep, like my heart beating fast and me getting scared, and I would try to wake myself up quick. It wasn't like that. I felt peaceful. So what was happening in the dream that I would normally be scared of, I wasn't scared. And then I was like, I felt at peace. And it was like, in my dream, I knew it was God talking to me, like everything is going to be okay. And when I woke up, I just felt like a completely different person. And I went to work that day and I didn't even act the same way I normally would act. I was so, normally in the morning, I'm stressing and trying to hurry up and get ready and frustrated about traffic. I was so calm that day. And I'm just a lot calmer anyway. Like I was so angry when I used to go to work, but I'm not like that now. So, I mean, I don't work the job anymore because the job was stressing me out, but it may help me figure out when I needed to leave that job, because that's when I got into finding my purpose. Because I wasn't into my purpose. I didn't even think about it. I just kept figuring out I didn't know what I'm supposed to do with my life. I don't know who I am. Who am I supposed to be? I kept thinking like that at first. But now I don't feel that way. I feel like, I know my purpose. Sometimes I feel like I don't know if it's more supposed to be added on to it, but I'm still learning. I'm still figuring out. And we all, look, we're going to be trying to figure things out for the rest of our life. We're going to be trying to build a relationship with God for the rest of our life. Why? Because we're human and we're born into sin. We're going to sin. I mean, you can't really get out of it being on earth, point blank. But the thing is just trying to do the best that you can, trying to be the best version of yourself, trying to have the most self-control you could possibly have. Try to be more disciplined, because not having self-control, it's a mess. You be all over the place. And also, when you get closer to God, you start to realize something. You just automatically just get smarter. Like those mind tricks guys try to play on you, and that stuff don't work. Before that, I'd be like, dang, is he right? No, daggone where he was wrong. But the fact that you so needy and not loving yourself, you do stupid stuff. You just automatically get smarter. Things just, that, like I said, that light bulb comes on. So yeah. But I try not to let people discourage me in what I'm doing, because just because they don't want to build their relationship with God doesn't have anything to do with me. I don't want to force nothing on people. Yeah, but anyway, I'm going to go ahead and end this video. Make sure you comment, like, subscribe, share. No negative comments. Don't nobody feel like dealing with that, because I swear I feel like people just... Look, if you find your purpose and find out what you're supposed to do, you'll realize you ain't got time to just be on people videos to say something negative or something stupid or something. Because I be tired of saying that on other people's videos. And half the time I'm like, what's the purpose of that? But anyway, like, comment, subscribe, share, because it might help somebody else out. But I'll go ahead and I'll see you in the next video.